And I really want to thank all of you for inviting me here today to talk about the new College of Computing and to introduce the inaugural dean, Dr. Dennis Livesay. So it's hard to imagine that it's been over 8 years since 2012 that members of the campus community began conversing in earnest about launching a new college focused on computing. Those conversations continued in earnest in 2013, leading to the formation of the ACIA, otherwise known as the Alliance for Computing, Information, and Automation, which really spurred growth in research activity in the area of computing on our campus. Then in 2017 to 18, new conversations were launched and were informed by the lessons we'd learned internally through the ACIA, as well as experiences of leaders in industry, including Dave House. So forming a new college is a very big deal in academia, and it does not happen frequently. The last time we launched a new college was in 2014, which is when the Pavlis Honors College was launched. I just want to acknowledge that we owe a tremendous debt to the faculty who contributed to the vision of the College of Computing, and also to Dr. Adrian Minarek, who is a very capable and experienced administrator and scholar, and who pulled together the members of the new college and established an effective operating structure. She's done a brilliant job shepherding the college over the past year and a half and left it in a very good place. So today we're going to enter a new phase in Michigan Tech's history, and with that new phase, I'm pleased to introduce Dennis to the Michigan Tech alumni family as the new dean of the college. Just want to tell you a little bit about Dennis right now. He has extensive university leadership experience, and in fact, this is his third deanship. Most recently, he was the dean of the College of Engineering at Wichita State University. Prior to that, he was the dean of the Graduate School and associate vice president for research and technology transfer at Wichita State. Prior still, he was a founding member of the Department of Bioinformatics and Genomics at UNC Charlotte, where he also had roles as interim associate dean in the College of Computing and Informatics, a provost faculty fellow, the founding director of the Charlotte Research Scholars, and the founding director of the Bioinformatics and Computational PhD program. Dennis has spent his entire career working across disciplinary boundaries, a mindset that he brings to his administrative roles. His research spans biophysics, chemistry, computing, and data science, with the goal of understanding protein family sequence, structure, function, relationships. In particular, the bulk of Dennis's research is focused on understanding how physical and chemical properties vary with evolutionary divergence, and what the consequences are of those differences. He has been key personnel on over 12 million of external funding and has almost 10 million as the principal investigator. He's also served on the editorial board of 7 journals, including BMC Bioinformatics and PLOS Computational Biology. It over to Dennis and let him have a few words, and I hope you're all as excited as I am to have Dennis with us today.
Jackie, thank you. I really appreciate this opportunity, and I'm excited to be here. Dave, I say it again, thank you so much for this transformative gift, and look forward to working with you. And while she's not here, I'd like to thank Adrian again for, she really has done an outstanding job of getting us to this point. Before I sort of talk about where we're going as a college, I'd like to take a little bit of a segue and tell you a little bit about my discipline of bioinformatics. And even a short time ago, as a decade and a half, maybe 2 decades, if I were to ask a set of biologists a relatively simple question, and that question is, how many genes are differentially regulated, meaning they're turned on or they're turned off, with a relatively simple perturbation? And that perturbation could be as simple as feeding an organism a bunch of sugar. That answer probably would have been on the order of a couple dozen. And that sort of harkens back to the way we teach metabolism and the key genes that are involved in the breakdown of the glucose. But at that time, we had these wonderful new technologies that allowed us to do this experiment. and to interrogate not just one or two genes, but to interrogate the whole genome. And it turns out we were way wrong. That the number of genes that got turned on and turned off on this relatively simple perturbation were thousands, all over the metabolic chart. And that revolution in technology led to a profound difference in our understanding that is not dissimilar from the difference of understanding that happened 100 years prior in physics. So there was a classical physics view of the world, and the discovery of quantum mechanics completely revolutionized our understanding. The access of computing and data and connectivity is revolutionizing biology. It's now revolutionizing business, the social sciences, the humanities, and it's disrupting every discipline. And one of the key benchmarks for us in terms of being successful in this new effort, and when we give a report card for how we've done 10 years down the road, is how well we have helped other disciplines and our colleagues in other colleges and across the globe navigate this disruption. And part of that disruption is understanding and being able to produce the data, catalog the data, make predictions off the data, transmit it. The statistics break. So one of the things we found out in bioinformatics very quickly was that the statistics that we had used for decades when n was small no longer worked when n got very, very big. We had new challenges on how we create data structures, and then computational and technical challenges related to everything that we do. And our goal going forward, one of the key elements of success for this college will be, and I apologize for my really bad analogy, will be how bad our tentacles reach out into other areas to help them move forward. And with that, and even with that, another key element of success for us will be how do we grow the discipline? I am a disciplinarian. I really believe in the value of disciplines, even though I work in a space that spans multiple traditional disciplines. And so another equally important goal for the college is to promote the discipline of computer science, to promote the discipline of data science and informatics, and to make sure that when we bring in young people and older folks into our college and we train them, that they leave knowing the canon and have deep technical skills so they can thrive once they leave here. We want to grow that discipline. We want to make sure that we're pushing the boundaries and creating new knowledge. And so that relates to our research mission. And so really, I view the next 5 to 10 years, the things that we're going to be focused on is this outward view, as well as this sort of inward, how do we grow and promote computing in all of its various forms. The new guy is expected to have a vision, and this is something that Dave and I have talked a lot about. And I'm using his advice here, and it's really good advice, and making sure that when people ask me about that, I want to make clear that I don't have all the answers. I have some things that I believe are really important for us, and they're not dissimilar to the other things that have already been discussed prior to me arriving. But we're going to collectively figure out our path forward in this space. And so one of the things I'm really trying to do right now, and we'll be doing over the next 6 months to a year, is listening with intent, really listening hard to what people are saying, where they see opportunities, where they see challenges. And we will collectively define this path forward. I will say that some of the things that I think that are important, that I think that need to be part of this conversation, is we have to grow our enrollment. We have to grow our reach and our scope. Computing is too critical going forward for us not to have a growth mindset. We need to grow research. We need to continue to expand the boundaries of those disciplines that I was referring to. We need to be a college where everyone feels welcome. And you'll not hear me talk about growing research and growing enrollment without also talking about diversity and inclusion. And we need to strengthen our industry relationships and as we build this identity around computing. So those are some of the things that I'm thinking about. But really, the overarching two themes are how do we go out and help other colleagues and other disciplines navigate this disruption that's happening within this digital transformation that's happening in every industry, as well as how do we continue to grow our disciplines. So with that, I'd like to say thank you. The college has made great strides to this point. And with Dave's support, we can continue to march towards these loftier goals. Dave and I talk a lot about the future. And I love our tagline of the college, the future is computational. We can make this happen, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
So I hope you can see why now we're all so excited to have Dennis here leading this College of Computing, the new effort. Dennis, I'm just so delighted you're here on staff with us. And as Jackie said, starting a new college is non-trivial. She was humble, but I can tell you that she worked very hard to make that come to pass as well. I think it's fitting that the event we're talking about today is happening on this alumni board meeting, because I can tell you that when I first started as president now 2.5 years ago, one of my very early meetings was with one of our alums, Dave House, and the influence that Dave had on me and my thinking with regard to the role of computing to advance our college, to really meet the needs of this fourth industrial revolution was remarkable. And I can honestly say that the fact that we announced having this new College of Computing very early within the first semester of my time here was in part because of the vision that Dave was able to share and I was able to capture as well for what it can be. And Dave, I must tell you, friend and a mentor through my time here at Michigan Tech, which I will always value when I look back on my career here. And it's because of that, I'm honored and proud to be able to make this announcement that Dave has once again demonstrated his deep commitment to Michigan Tech. And with Dave's latest gift, I am pleased to appoint Dennis as the holder of the inaugural Dave House Deanship for the College of Computing. Now, be there no mistake, this is the first endowed dean position we have ever had at Michigan Tech. And being an endowed dean carries with it a national and international stature that will help Dennis to lead this college as we move forward into the next 5 to 10 years. So Dennis, I think this places you very well to advance the mission that you just described for us, thanks to the vision, energy, and the generosity of Dave House, one of our great alumni. So Dave, on behalf of the entire campus community, thank you for your vision and your continued support. I'd like to ask you to say a few words.
Well, thank you very much, everyone, Richard and everyone else. This is not about me, and quite honestly, this is not even about Dennis. This is about Michigan Tech, and this is about the future. We are living in a time of extremely rapid change. Yogi Bear once said, the future ain't what it used to be, and certainly that's true today. The job of Michigan Tech is to prepare students for that very uncertain future. What will today's graduates need to know, and what will they need to be able to do during the next 40 or 50 years before they retire? There's been a lot written about the future, the fourth industrial revolution, the autonomous revolution, robot proof, higher education and the age of artificial intelligence. Lots of things have been written. But one thing everybody agrees on is that the future will be very different than the past. Sensors everywhere, wireless networking that connects it all, huge databases of information about everyone and everything, machine learning, artificial intelligence, able to do things beyond what humans can do. And most importantly, people with the skills required for this new world. That shift's already happening today, and change will only accelerate. New skills are going to be required to live and to prosper in this new world. Now, computing has already invaded every aspect of our lives, not only the field of engineering and science and medicine and mathematics, but it's also changed advertising and music and video and journalism and art, social media, politics, even our belief systems. For our graduates, computing will not only play a central role, but even an increasing role with the passage of time. Now, about computing. There's a technology of computing. It includes machine learning and AI, cybersecurity, data structures, algorithms, operating systems, software design tools, et cetera, et cetera. But the College of Computing is unlike any other college in that the impact of computing lies largely outside of the technology of computing. The College of Computing must not only develop technology for computing, but computing for technology and computing for life. The College of Computing must build bridges to every area of our campus and beyond. It must make every college and every department better. It must be the glue that binds us together. It must serve a purpose beyond its own. Now, Michigan Tech created the first college of computing in the state. It did that to better serve the future needs and the economy of Michigan, the region, and the nation. For the College of Computing to meet the challenges I just mentioned, it's got to attract the best faculty and the best students. Faculty and students that see the future and are willing to rise up and to lead that future. You know, this requires a really special person, a qualified, capable, dynamic leader. Now, I endowed the Dave House Dean of Computing to attract and retain such a leader, because I believe that's most important to the future of Michigan Tech. So I am proud to have Dennis as the first recipient of this award. Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Dennis, President Koubek, Provost Huntoon. Thank you so much. Dave, that was inspiring. You are truly one of our most committed alums. We appreciate your vision, your commitment to our future. We are indeed fortunate to have you care so deeply about our students. You know, you and I have had many conversations, and that's what this is about, right? It's about Michigan Tech and its students being able to go out there and, as you so aptly put, help provide for the state, the region, and the nation. It is certainly one of our goals to have more positions like this, but you have set the example and have set the pace, and as you've done so many times in your career, have been the pathfinder in this. Thank you, Dave, for all of your support, both for the university. Thank you for bringing this to the alumni board. This is a group that has much contact with students and will be able to help do just as you say, bring in the best and the brightest to fill the College of Computing.